Thanks again to Nick Piccolo from the Arizona Republic for joining us in the last segment. Appreciate his time as always, especially when he's on the road. Calling All Sports Saturday, presented by Casino Arizona. I'm Mike Gross alongside Gary Cruz.
How ironic that Casino Arizona is our sponsor today.
We are.
Based on our next guest.
Absolutely, and we'll get right back to it. We'll get out to the right toe to guest line. And welcome to the program, Kevin O'Donnell, who is out playing poker this weekend. Kevin, it's Mike and Gary. How are you today?
I'm doing good, boys. How are you?
Good. Are you in a break? I know you're in a tournament at Casino Arizona today.
You guys couldn't make it happen where I can interview on a break. But, hey, I'm here anyway. I'll just sit out a few hands.
Hey, listen, the World Series of Poker's coming up. Well, it's I didn't realize that this thing starts with about 70,000 people and it whittles its way down to a final table. Tell me about just your experience about playing in that event and in events around the world.
Well, every event's different, but in the World Series, it's, that's the creme de la creme. It's the one everybody wants. So it's one of the few tournaments I'll play with a lot of patience. It's an 8-day tournament. It actually spans over 2 weeks, but you have 8 days to play, so you can't get in a rush to try and win the tournament on day 1 or 2. And my goal, like everybody else that doesn't have one, is a bracelet.
Yeah.
So patience it is.
Hey, Kevin, I think that the popularity with the general public of the World Series of Poker has really exploded with the coverage it's gotten on ESPN. And one of the things I think is pretty cool, and I'm interested in your take on it, what it's like when the cameras aren't on, but it seems like there's a lot of chirping going on at the tables, a lot of, conversations back and forth. Just what's the atmosphere? What's it like when you're sitting around a table at that event?
Well, every table is different, but I think for the most part, there's a big camaraderie between all the poker players, and a lot of respect between them. Of course, there's a few rivalries, shall we call them. But most of the poker players have an immense amount of respect for each other, and the deeper you get into it, the quieter actually people get. I've been deep with good friends, and when you get deeper and deeper, it gets quieter and quieter. I mean, everybody's focused and on the task at hand. That's the win. Whether it be your mother, your brother, my daughter plays, and I hope someday we actually get to play there. But I guarantee you, she's going to be shooting for me, and the same goes full true here.
Folks, you're listening to Kevin O'Donnell's of KO's American Bar and Grill, and also obviously he's a world-class poker player. Been to the World Series, played poker all around the world. Do you have a great moment for you in the sport? Did I scare
you? No, I've got so many great memories of it. One of my best moments was one of my worst moments when I lost to Alan Cunningham when I was 21st in the main event in 2006. But it'll be a sweet and bittersweet memory the rest of my life. I mean, I lost, but I got 21st out of 8,800 and some odd people. That's for me, and it was my second year of playing. I was pretty happy with that. My daughter being there when I took fourth in the Legends of Poker on the World Poker Tour. If I watch the tape, it brings tears to my eyes. When I got busted out, she yelled, "I love you, Dad." It's one of those things. Because you have kids, you know what it's like. Mike, I don't know if you do or not, but
oh yeah.
When you're a little girl, that's your life is there. Just telling you, it's okay. You won. I love you. That's all that counts. And now she's an avid player. So that's probably my favorite is down in L.A. at the Legends of Poker.
Well, the World Series starts on May 31st, and it goes through July the 19th. But, hey, Kevin, people can actually practice at your restaurant, can't they? I mean, you hold some events. Can you give us an idea what KO's does in the poker world?
We actually give away 4 seats for the World Series every year, Gary. We give away one every quarter to one of the smaller events, obviously, but we play Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and whoever leads in points after 3 months, we have a playoff, and they get a seat to a World Series of Poker event, which is a special. It really is a special feeling to play in that.
By the way, that's worth $1,000.
That's awesome. And in,
Yeah.
case you're wondering where it is, KO's is.
Gary, you got to be positive. That's worth $500,000.
That's true.
There you
gotta
gonna win. Yeah, absolutely.
KO's is Kevin, I was telling Gary that my day job, what I do Monday through Friday, I'm right around the corner for you. So I'm there at lunch frequently, but it's located basically on the corner of Northside and Raintree in the Scottsdale Air Park, right off the Loop 101 Raintree exit. And it's for this event, for on the poker events, but just if you're out there going for lunch, I noticed KO's open for breakfast today. So a great restaurant out there in the Scottsdale Air Park.
Well, you know the cool story about this too, Kevin, and you can attest to this. Kevin actually sold the restaurant to his daughter. And Kevin is still there every day. He's working the restaurant, but this is allowing. Tell us the reason why you did that, and I think it's to obviously the poker is pretty big in your life. So you sell the restaurant to Jennifer, and here we are. And some of the reasons why you did that, Pard.
Well, she's really run the restaurant for the last 5 years, and it was just time. I want to get out and play poker a little bit more. And like today, I'm in Casino, Arizona, and I'm playing in a tournament. But at the table next to me is my boss, Jennifer. She's playing at the table next to me. So
That's awesome.
I'm trying to sneak away and take a day off, and my boss catches me.
Oh, that's so funny,
That's
man.
good stuff.
But Kevin, it's kind of neat. It's a family affair over there, and I'll tell you what. Anybody that wants to play poker, hey, if you want fresh food, you want great drink specials, KO's is the place to go. But back to the poker itself, Kevin. Psychology, man, it's amazing. I sat in a little tournament we were talking about one day at a hotel in Vegas, and I did a $25 buy-in, and I wilted like a dog. It was awful. Guy looked me in the eye, and I should have worn sunglasses. But some of the psychology that goes on during the course of the tournament.
Wow, there's psychological angles. I mean, at every table from every player. Jennifer, on her 19th birthday, played in a tournament in Australia. And she was scared. It was her first time ever playing in a live tournament. I had just had a good World Series, and then I had already made a final table in Australia. So I put her in a $2,500 event, and she sits down when it gets down to 2 tables. She sits down, and a male player at the table says to her, "Your iPod is it's glaring. Can you move it?" And it was purely a psychological play to see if he could get in her head. And she moved it because she's a polite young lady. And I told her, I raised you to be one way, now you're a poker player. You need to be a whole different way. You tell that guy, listen, put on some sunglasses, move your chair, get the angle out of your eye, but you cannot back down. And it's not a question of being polite or rude. It's a question of he was trying to find out a little bit about her psyche, and he did. Because she was scared. And she looked at it, and when she moved that iPod, he knew it wasn't an act, and I think he did manipulate that. She got knocked out probably about an hour, 2 hours later.
She actually did pretty well, though, in that first tournament in Australia.
Are you kidding me? She took 13.
That's awesome.
At 19, I mean, she's 30 years ahead of the play I was at her age.
Who do you think's the best player in the history of this poker?
Yeah, that's a difficult question. It's like who's the best player in football? Offense, defense, and a passing scheme, running game. I'll say this, and it's probably because he's a good friend of mine. But first and foremost, you have to give Phil Hellmuth as the best player in tournament poker. Nobody likes to do that because he's such a pain in the fanny, shall we say. I think Joe Hassan has to rank right up there. He's a personal friend, but the guy won the main event with over 5,000 or 6,000 people. He won Doyle Brunson's tournament, which is one of the most prestigious fields in poker. There's $10 million in tournament winnings right there, and he's cashed. I know that 2 years in a row we both finished in the top 200 in the main event of the World Series. So he's constantly around there. He's constantly in the money. He won the 8-game championship in London. He has to be up there. All-around player. I think I'm going to give my nod to the one everybody gives it to. That's probably Ivy. The guy's an animal. And nobody sees his game on TV because all that we see is a Phil Ivey that's got, $1 million on a basketball game or, waiting for a golf game at 200,000 hole, whatever. So he wasn't focused for a lot of years. Now, last year when he made a few bets with a few players that added up to 7 figures, he was focused. He won 2 bracelets and, made a couple final tables outside of that. And, he did really well. He did what Phil Ivey could do pretty much every year if he focused.
Got me all fired up now for the World Series. By the way, Kev, we're going to have to cut this off, but, I do want to let people out there know that on any given Tuesday, any given Saturday, any Thursday, a Phil Ivey, a Phil Hellmuth, some of these great players, they come over, don't they? Don't they come to KOs?
We've had tons of them. Ivy, Greg Raymer, Joe Hashem, Antonio Esfandiari, Phil Locke, Jennifer Tilley, Todd Brunson, you name it, they've been there. Tony Gowan, back-to-back Lane Flack, Gavin Smith, they've all been there. More importantly, the great Jennifer O'Donnell plays there, so you can run into her anytime.
Kev, thank you so much, brother. Get back to your table.
I will do that. Thanks, guys. You guys have a great day.
That's Kevin O'Donnell, his restaurant, his daughter's restaurant, K. O'Donnell's, their website, kodonnells.com. You can get all the food, drink specials as well. More information on their free poker nights at K. O'Donnell's in the Scottsdale Air Park. He's Gary Cruz. I'm Mike Gross. Hour number 1 in the books. Stick with us. Hour number 2 right around the corner. Calling All Sports Saturday, presented by Casino Arizona, right here on The Fan, AM 1060.